Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Jared Bless coming to you guys with another video, man. If you guys haven't seen my video on why Charles Oliveira will punish Islam Makhachev at UFC 280, be sure to check it out, guys. Drop a like on that video. Let's keep getting the likes up on that video. And yeah, let's keep the engagement up, guys. We're gonna stay very consistent going forward with these MMA videos, man, and I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see what the future holds. But listen, let's get straight into today's video. So we're gonna get straight into it. TJ Dillashaw versus Aljamain Sterling. Right now, TJ Dillashaw is sitting at the underdog, which is absolutely insane to me. I don't always, try to sit there and look at what the underdog of a fight is or who's the favorite. That doesn't really matter to me. More so the breakdown. Now, yes, sometimes the odds do play a bit of a a factor in terms of whether the fight is gonna go that way or not. Obviously, the closer the odds are, the more likely the fight can go either way. So right now, I think TJ Dillashaw is sitting at just about a plus 150, and quite honestly, it doesn't make any sense. I'll just put it like this, right? The matchup between TJ Dillashaw and Aljamain Sterling is just an absolutely horrible matchup for Aljamain Sterling. Like, if we're just looking at the two fight styles straight up off the bat, Aljamain Sterling does not have any type of striking to where he can harm anybody. He doesn't have not one knockout on his record, just 2 TKO finishes, but they weren't like clear knockouts. I think Aljo does have some pretty good footwork, but if we're talking about footwork, we do know that TJ Dillashaw has the far superior footwork, the far better striking, more weapons on the feet to cause damage. So it really shouldn't even be a debate in terms of who's better on the feet, because we know that TJ Dillashaw is far the better on the feet, more power in his hands, more power in his legs, and he has a better footwork. And then we switch over to the wrestling department. Obviously, that's where Aljo, he has that BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so he's going to be good on the ground. But in terms of getting the fight to the ground, Aljamain Sterling is absolutely terrible with his takedown accuracy in terms of getting the fight to the floor efficiently and effectively. With Peter Yan, it took him 22 attempts and he got about just 2. Obviously, on one of the takedowns, he was able to control Peter Yan's back, but to be 100% fair, nobody has been able to take down TJ Dillashaw like that and control his back. The only person that has really ever been able to take down TJ Dillashaw somewhat effectively was Dominic Cruz. Like, TJ Dillashaw's takedown defense is 86. Yes, Peter Yan's takedown defense is a 90, so it is slightly better than TJ Dillashaw's. But just in terms of the fluidity with the striking on the feet and the wrestling, I know for a fact that TJ is going to be a problem. And I would say that Peter Yan was very emotional going to that Aljo fight. In all honesty, I had Aljo beating Peter Yan the first fight because I just felt that Peter Yan didn't fight any competition versus, Aljo. Aljo had proven himself to be up in the rankings, and Peter Yan wasn't really fighting anybody. Like, he was fighting a 40-year-old retired skateboarder, Uriah Faber, you know what I'm saying, getting finishes over him. He fought Jose Aldo for the belt when Jose Aldo was, obviously Jose Aldo bounced back from that. But, Jose Aldo was just not a proven bantamweight fighter to be fighting for the belt. It was more so just of the fact that Jose Aldo was a legend. So I say all of that to say this. My mindset in terms of how I think about the matchups with fights is the same, because the same way I felt that Aljo was going to beat Peter Yan the first fight due to the level of competition is the same way I feel about TJ being able to beat Aljo. So if we just take a quick skim through, not even really a quick skim through, but I can go through the people that Aljo has fought. He got knocked out viciously in 2017 versus Marlon Moraes. That's when Marlon Moraes was at the top of the game in the bantamweight division. He was very dangerous. Kind of has a similar style to TJ Dillashaw, but TJ Dillashaw just has better footwork, more fluid. He has better wrestling. So, it was kind of that same type of style of match, and Aljo was knocked out. He did bounce back in a great way, though, when he fought against Brett Johns, who was undefeated at the time. Aljo did get a 30-27 victory, unanimous decision on all 3 judges' scorecards, so he dominated that fight with the wrestling. Against an undefeated fighter, which is cool, but that undefeated fighter hadn't really proven anything in the UFC. He hadn't beaten any top-ranked opponents, and his only 2 wins over some decent opponents was Tony Gravely and Montel Jackson. So not really too much of a resume you could really boast about, beating a guy like that. Next up, Aljo ended up fighting Cody Stamann, who was actually ranked number 10, while Aljo was ranked number 8. And Aljo did get an insane submission finish over over Cody Stamann, which was a great win. So I do give him credit for that. But to be fair, at the same time, great win for for Aljo, but Cody Stamann, I would say that win didn't really age much like fine wine. He's pretty much been at the bottom of the bantamweight division for the most part of his career. But to be fair, he was ranked number 10 at the time, so great win for Aljo nonetheless. Aljo then went on to fight against Jimmy Rivera, who was definitely proven at bantamweight. He was ranked number 5 at the time, while Aljo was ranked number 7, and he got the unanimous decision victory. So definitely a great win for Aljo in that fight. The next fight was Pedro Munoz, which Aljo did dominate that fight. I don't think that Pedro Munoz had anything for Aljo that entire fight. He won unanimous decision, and I vividly remember just Aljo just outstriking Pedro on the feet. Like, Pedro just had nothing for Aljo. The next fight was against Corey Sandhagen. We know what happened with that fight. Aljo just got the backpack and pretty much just choked out Corey Sandhagen right away. That was like the most dominant win that Aljo has had over a very, 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 very good fighter. So that I give credit, I give credit to Aljo for those 2 wins. And obviously the win versus Peter Yan, the first matchup, which I had Aljo win in that fight. Aljo literally went out there and was just trying to do too much. He was trying to do too much, gassed himself out, and it was a bad night for him, as he said. And he bounced back in the second fight. I thought Aljo definitely won the second fight too, even though it was split. Some people were trying to make an argument for Yan, but there was really no argument. The fight just wasn't going Yan's way. Aljo got the backpack, controlled him for a majority of a round. Another round, Aljo outstruck Yan. So I would say Aljo won about the first 3 rounds or so, and I'd say that Yan got the last 2. That's just in my opinion. So in terms of the competition that Aljo has fought, his last 4 fights were competitive fights, but at the same time, Peter Yan, to me personally, I always thought that Aljo was, I'm not going to say the better fighter, but I just thought that in terms of the style of matchup, I thought that Aljo was going to win the first fight. The second fight, I'll be honest, I was like, whoa, if that's how the fight's going to go, I guess that Peter Yan just has the edge over him. But Aljo proved me wrong in the second fight. So I had Aljo win in the first fight, then I had him lose in the second fight. But in terms of who Peter Yan has beat, Peter Yan, I'll give him credit for the Corey Sandhagen win. That's a good win. But he beat Jose Aldo in 2020, which was 2 years ago. And we know that Jose Aldo just was being finished multiple times. He beat Uriah Faber by a head kick that Uriah was retired. Like, you know what I'm saying? He beat Jimmy Rivera, who's a decent win, but nothing too crazy. Then he beat John Dodson. And from there, it's just like guys that are just not good. You know what I'm saying? And it's just guys that are not good. So the level of competition that Peter Yan has faced, it just wasn't enough for me to feel like, okay, he's some type of world level fighter. Don't get me wrong, he definitely is a high level fighter, but I just, in terms of wins in the UFC, it just wasn't really adding up for me. So that's TJ's, not TJ's, but that's Aljo's kind of resume or so. In terms of TJ Dillashaw, because we can just jump right over to TJ Dillashaw. This guy is the best bantamweight of all time, in my opinion. There's no doubt about that. This guy's the best bantamweight of all time, in my opinion. He's only lost to Dominic Cruz at 135. That was the last time he lost at 135, was in 2016. And that was to Dominic Cruz, who some also say is the greatest bantamweight fighter of all time. But the last loss he had really was in 2019. But that was at flyweight, and we know what he did to himself. He tried to deplete himself. He tried to make 125. It was a stupid move. If he wanted to fight for another belt, he should have went up in weight. But he wanted to try to do something different, and it failed miserably. I don't think it's ever smart for any champion to go down in weight. It just doesn't make sense at all. And obviously, we've seen him pay the price for that. But outside of the Dominic Cruz fight, the last time he lost before that in 2016, which was years ago, was 2013 to Rafael Assunção, who TJ Dillashaw got a rematch versus, and he won by unanimous decision. So I don't understand how in the world that people think that Aljo is going to win this fight. Obviously, I would say that they're saying that because of the hiccup that TJ had, the mistake that he made, which was a terrible mistake. He was going anemic, whatever. He tried to take some EPO, which was very, very dumb, and he paid the price for it. But I don't think that has determined how good he's been at bantamweight. I mean, like, he came back and he fought Corey Sandhagen, who was ranked number 2 at the time, and TJ Dillashaw hadn't fought in 2 years, and he beat Corey Sandhagen on a blown out knee. People are talking about, well, this fight was close. Yeah, he had a blown out knee. You know what I'm saying? And he won that fight. So imagine if his knee wasn't blown out. I'm pretty sure he'd win unanimously. Before that, he finished Cody Garbrandt twice. Then he beat John Lineker. He beat Rafael Assunção. He beat Renan Barão, who Renan Barão was at one point on a 31 fight win streak, right? Beat Renan Barão twice. Finished him twice. So to me personally, I'm more so aiming and pinpointing towards the style of the matchup and how their fights have gone and who they fought. I think TJ Dillashaw has obviously fought the better competition, while Aljo has some good wins. I definitely give him credit for that. Like, I'm not saying Aljo's a bum. I think he's a great fighter. But I just go off the terms of the style of the matchup. Like I said, the first fight against Jan, I had Aljo winning. The second fight, I had Aljo losing. This fight, I have TJ beating Aljo, and it's because of the style of matchup. So that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to get in depth with that. I just wanted to talk about that because for some reason people are trying to sit here and act like Aljo really should be a favorite. It's just really recency bias, because the win that Aljo got over Peter Yan, but Peter Yan hasn't really beat anybody that we can say, oh my goodness, that was such a proven win. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But y'all know what to do, man. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video, man. It's your boy JR Bless, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.